For YOUTUBE.COM today, after a very interesting day in the Trojan family as far as the quarterback position is concerned. As anyone watching this well knows, Matt Barkley today named by Pete Carroll as the starting quarterback heading into the 2009 season. Gary Paskowitz, Jeremy Hogue, Brian Matthews. First of all, Jeremy, give us your thoughts on this announcement that came out today.
Well, I'm going to take it for face value a little bit and not try to read too much into it. When I say that, what I'm saying is Pete came out today and basically said Aaron Corp's not ready. And as such, Matt Barkley is going to be the starter for the San Jose State game. Now, he didn't say it's going to be a week one decision because he'd never say that. He's going to say he's the starter. He's the starter until he's not the starter. But I think from my standpoint, I see it and I think, okay, he's going to let Matt get used to being a starter going into the scrimmage, have sort of that preparation of being a starter at that one scrimmage, sort of be the preparation for San Jose State. And after that, we'll see how it goes. I think both quarterbacks should play against San Jose State. We'll see how they both do. And then I think there'll be a decision to be made after that for Ohio State. Pete's not going to say that that's on the table right now, but I think clearly it is. If Matt does not play well, Aaron does play well, sure, there could be a change. But I do think it was an opening to sort of make Matt the guy, and he took it, and we'll see where it goes.
Brian, after having been out here the last couple of days and seeing Aaron Corp's return to practice, did the news surprise you to a certain extent?
I think the news surprised everybody. To be honest, I think, looking at Aaron out there today, you definitely notice maybe a little more pain in the knee than you had in days past. And like Jeremy said, maybe he is not ready to come back. And at that point, it becomes clear that Matt is your starter. But Carroll also said this is not a one-game deal. He is now the quarterback, and I think that's also to instill confidence in him and let him run with the position. But I think it is shocking. I thought the timing of it was interesting with the fall huddle coming around the corner. I thought, that could really give Aaron a shot, to prove himself. If he was able to bounce back, just prove what kind of quarterback he is and what a great game manager he is. I thought definitely the timing was interesting.
Let me add to that real fast. I think the question that comes, if you look beyond face value to sort of what's maybe underlies this, I think everybody's question is, Aaron Corp is a quarterback that we could win a national championship with, not because he might necessarily make all the big plays that maybe a Matt Barkley might be able to make, but because with a great offensive line, a great stable of running backs, and an awesome defense, if you have a sort of more mature veteran quarterback leading a team, not making mistakes, taking plays that are there, that's a guy that can win a lot of games. And I think a lot of fans probably feel this question is Pete Carroll, and that staff that's so enamored with Matt Barkley, sort of forcing Matt Barkley onto this team too soon. And I think that's a worry that you sort of hear the people rumbling about and sort of wondering about, and I'm sure a lot of people at YOUTUBE.COM are sort of thinking, and that is a question. And so to me, I'm going to take it at face value and think that it's Aaron's not healthy, Matt's the starter game one, and we'll see where it goes.
But take that a step further to the other players on the team. Let's say maybe the seniors who this is their last go-around as they look at the situation, and they're saying, like you say, the steady guy in Corp versus the young guy in Barkley. How might they view the situation?
Well, I think even the seniors on this team are going to be guys that are behind the coaching staff on whatever decision they make. These are not guys. Jeff Byers is not a guy who's going to question the decisions that this Jeremy Bates and Pete Carroll make about Matt Barkley being the starter. And I think he's got a great opportunity to go in against the San Jose State team that does not have a defense that he's been playing against every day out here on this practice field. Let him get some rhythm and experience underneath him. Aaron Corp is clearly not 100%. Even though we can say he looks good and all that great stuff, he's not 100%. And a big part of his game is scrambling around, making plays with his feet. He doesn't look like he's really comfortable doing that right now. So let's take the first week, and there's a lot of football to be played. I think if everyone's trying to write off into the sunset and say, gosh, it's done. Matt Barkley's the guy from here on out. Aaron Corp might as well look at transferring. I mean, come on, guys. We're still a week away from our first game. There's a lot of football to be played. Let's not read too much into it.
Right, and I think one thing that Jeremy brought up, which is a very good point, is that this is a Pete Carroll and Jeremy Bates decision. We've all known for a long time Aaron Corp was the starter. They named out a spring, but there is something about the way these guys looked at Matt Barkley. They have clearly been enamored with him from day one. And so, like we alluded to, did they look at this and say, hey, this is our chance to get this kid in here. Let's do it now because we don't know when the next chance might come where it's a somewhat smooth transition.
Well, I think Coach Carroll is still a little mad that he did really only get 1 year out of Mark Sanchez, and I think that might play into his mind a little bit when you've got a Matt Barkley. And if really you're going to break a freshman quarterback in, this is the year to do it. You've got the entire offensive line returning, Damian Williams and Ronald Johnson. Johnson, Anthony McCoy, your entire running back stable. So if there is a year with the talent that he has, this is the year. But when you talk about enamored, that is absolutely what they are with him. I mean, using the words anomalies and statistical outlier. I mean, when you describe a freshman with those kind of words, I mean, really you get to see his face light up as he talks about Matt Barkley and his ability to stretch the field. But like Jeremy said, at this point, Aaron Corp clearly is the guy that is the better game manager. But with San Jose State around the corner, really, I think Matt gets that opportunity to really kind of flourish in that role against a defense that, according to him, knows his place here at USC. So he'll get to go out, and face some live competition. I think at that point, we can reevaluate the situation maybe 6 to 8 weeks down the line and then really, kind of evaluate, was it a good decision, was it a bad decision, or Aaron could be starting by then for all we know. But at this point, it's clear that San Jose State is the opener, and that's a great game for Matt Barkley to play in.
The toughness for a freshman to come into a situation like this, Jeremy, you went through it. When you were on the Trojans in the early 90s, Rob Johnson came in as a freshman. What are some of the things that Matt Barkley had better be ready for once the season starts?
Well, I mean, to me, it's the stuff that's not football related, and that can be such a distraction when you do get on the field. Because Rob Johnson was my roommate when he was thrust into that role as a true freshman. It wasn't at the first game of the year, but sort of midway through the year, got thrust into that role. And it's all the attention. I mean, we saw Matt Barkley out here today when practice broke get more media around him than probably any players had around him all of camp so far. All around him, the offensive line broke their huddle and said, "Leave Barkley alone." I mean, it was just sort of a running joke. They're trying to make light of it, but that will continue. It'll be, like we say, ESPN broke it national news between now and the time that they go to San Jose State. He'll get it even more going into Ohio State. So I think dealing with that aspect while at the same time preparing yourself to play now different defenses than just the Trojans every day is going to be a big thing for him to contend with.
As we're sitting here getting ready for San Jose State, last question, Brian. Matt Barkley, where do you think he's at in terms of his preparation? What do you expect from this guy in his first game?
I think in his first game, I think maybe to expect, kind of what you've seen on the practice field. Not so much what you saw in the Coliseum scrimmage or the last scrimmage out here. I expect maybe a 3-touchdown, 1 interception performance. Really, I think what he's going to be able to do is really utilize these wide receivers. And I just got a chance to speak to Ronald Johnson, and you can tell, I mean, he said either way he was going to be happy, but he knows now that he can run 40 or 50 yards down the field, and that ball can be there. I mean, these guys know, what kind of talent Matt Barkley has. Really, he's just going to have to see how he puts it together on the field. I expect him to have a great first game, and I also expect to see Aaron Corp quite a bit as well.
Should be interesting times, no doubt about it, here on Brian Kennedy Howard Jones Field. The naming today of Matt Barkley as the Trojan quarterback as we head into the 2009 season. For Jeremy Hogue, for Brian Matthews, this is Gary Paskowitz. You're watching We Are SC.